a todos al servicio de shavuot. Vamos a celebrar a los estudiantes y a estar juntos en oración.
So if you will open the prayer books, start shavuot evening service, and we begin on page 1 with the call to worship, blessing before God. Those that can, please rise. Baruch hu et Adonai, Amivorach. Baruch Adonai Barach, Leolam Moed. Please be seated. We'll read together in the Hebrew. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv arabim, v'chachma poteach she'arim, u'vitbuna mishaneh itim, u'machalit et hazmanim, u'misader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem, barakia kirtzono. Borei yom halayla. Golel or b'pnei choshech, v'choshech b'pnei or. U'ma'avir yom, u'me'vi layla. U'ma'avir digil, bein yom, u'vein layla. Adonai Tzivot Shemo, Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Arabim. Please turn to page 2. We join in Ahavat Olam, page 2. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Atam, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadetam. Al v'kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shachreinu u'v'kuneinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, li'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, u'vahem neged yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla, v'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev et amo Yisrael. Let's join together in the Shema, bottom of page 2.
Todos juntos vamos a decir el Shema abajo en página 2.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Turn to page 3.
Página 3.
We join in the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol We continue silently in the Hebrew, the English, and the Spanish.
Continuamos en silencio en inglés y en español.
Let us read in the English and then the Spanish on page 4.
Vamos a leer todos juntos en inglés y luego en español.
With great joy, Moses and Miriam and the children of Israel answered you in song, all of them saying, God, who is like you among the gods, people worship. Who like you is majestic in holiness, awesome in praise, working wonders. Our living God, your children soar your rule over the sea of reeds. All of them is one honored, as you sovereign saying, God shall rule forever and ever. And it is prophesied, for the Almighty has set Jacob free and rescued him from a hand stronger than his own. Blessed are you, God, who rescues Israel.
Todo esto es verdad y lo sostenemos firmemente, que tú eres nuestro Dios vivo y no existe otro, y que nosotros somos Israel, tu pueblo. Bendito eres tú, Dios, que rescatas a Israel.
Adonai Yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar kipad Adonai et Yaakov u'ge'alo mi'atazah mimenu baruch atah Adonai God Yisrael. We continue silently on page 4 in the Hebrew, the English, and the Spanish.
Continuamos en silencio en la página 4.
Ashkiveinu v'hamideinu malkeinu Yaster Satan Lupanes Lumetrim Yom Elson Rahmatan Ushmurte top of page 5.
Página 5 arriba.
Ufros aleinu, sukat shalomecha, baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al kol
favor.
We now proclaim observance of the festival of Shavuot and all the other festivals.
Ahora festejamos Shavuot.
Moadi Adonai, Mikrai Kodesh, Asher Tikrotam B'Moadam. We continue now with the silent devotion of the Amida, which begins at the bottom of page 5.
Continuamos en silencio con la devoción de la Avenida en la página 5.
And we will continue at the bottom of page 10.
Y continuamos hasta la página 10.
Continue aloud at the top of page 8 with this special festival prayer.
Continuar en voz alta en la página 8.
Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ya'aleh v'yavo, v'yagia v'yirem, v'yiratzeh v'yishama v'yipokeh v'yizacher, zichroneinu v'gdoneinu, v'zichron Avoteinu, v'zichron Mashiach ben David Abdecha, v'zichron Yerushalayim Yirkachecha, v'zichron Kolamcha Beit Yisrael Lefanecha, Liflei Talatava, Lecheinu Chesed Rachamim L'chaim Shalom, B'yom Chag HaShavuot Hazeh, Zachreinu Adonai Eloheinu Bo L'Tova, U'Vagidenu Bo L'Bracha, V'Hosheinu Bo L'Chayim. U'Yishuv Rachamim, Kus V'Chaneinu, Ki Alech Einenu, Ki Amelech Hanun, V'Rachumata, V'Hasinu, Adonai Eloheinu Birkat Vodecha, L'Chaim L'Shalom L'Simcha Zason, Kasher Ratzita, V'Amarta L'Vacheinu, Kodesheinu Mitzvotecha, Simchakeinu V'Tortecha, Saveinu Mitzvotecha, V'Samteinu Yeshuatecha, V'Taher Libeinu V'Yadecha B'Emed, V'Yantileinu Adonai Eloheinu V'Simcha Zason, Moadei Kodshecha, V'Yismachu B'Chol Yisrael, Mikadesh Shemecha Baruch Adonai, Mikadesh Yisrael, V'Hazmanim, V'Tzeron Eloheinu V'Imcha Yisrael V'Vatam, Shehei Rachamecha Rabim Tachot Banu, V'Tafresh Kinatcha Al Zion, V'Techezenu Eineinu, B'shuvcha l'tzion b'rachamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamachazir Shekinato l'tzion, Modim Anachnu Shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'olam v'ed, Surenu tzorchayenu, Malgenu sheinu atahu, L'dor v'ador, Nodeh lecha l'saper tilatecha, Al chayenu amsurim b'yadecha, V'yal nishmotenu v'damlaha, V'yal nisech shebachol, Yom imanu, V'yal nikotecha, V'tuvatecha shebachol eit erevot v'tzarayim, Atov, Ki l'chal rachamecha, V'hamakhem v'dadecha, Ki me'olam, Ki minulach, V'yal kulam yitbarach v'yitbaram shulchama, V'nikna seitan shulchama kenu lilam v'ed, V'chol ha'chayim, Yodu chasela, Yalalu v'yavachu et shulcha gadol mech, Ha'el yishmatenu v'yezratenu sela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ato shemcha, V'lachanu Elohu, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Atos v'yavam, Ki atahu melech Adonai chal shalom, V'tov b'einecha, L'varech el Am Yisrael, T'cholei t'chal shah b'shmomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Am varech el Amo Yisrael, V'shalom. We continue at the top of page 12.
Continuamos al inicio de la página 12.
Ose shalom b'ramav, Uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, 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 v'yimru, amen. Remain standing for the Aleinu, page 12.
Seguimos de pie en la página 12.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon, L'atei k'gdula l'yosef Reshit, Shelo asan l'tigayei haratzot, V'lo saman l'kmishachot ha'adama, Shelo sam Elkeinu kahem, V'kol aleinu k'chol ha'am, V'anachnu korim, U'mishpachavim u'modim, L'fnei melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, She'emet hashamayim v'yosei ha'aretz, U'mosher yikarov hashamayim mima'al, U'shki'inat hazot, V'gavei me'ron v'ki'im Hu Eloheinu, En Elokeinu, Kakatu b'torato, Yidatayu b'hashivota el-Mavacha, Ki Adonai, B'shamayim, V'yal-haret, Mitachat Eino. Continue at the top of page 14.
Continuamos al inicio de la página 14.
V'nemar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al-kol haaretz, V'yom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo, we ask the mourners and anyone that would like to join with them to remain standing. The others may be seated.
Les llamamos a todos los que están contemplando una pérdida que se queden de pie.
And if there is a particular person that you are remembering on this shavuot night, I will ask you to call out those names so that we all can show respect for that person.
Y si están recordando a una persona que no está aquí, los invitamos a que digan su nombre para recordarlos con respeto.
Cantor David Leon, Toby Leon, Rachel Leon. Yes? Edward Zigan and Florence. Any other names? We also mourn the loss of Blanca. His father passed away this week. And we remember Church Beagle Senior. The mourner's codice is found on page 14. Yikadal, the Kadash, the Merabah. Yalmad Rabbi Rute, Yalmad Mahute, V'chayekon, V'yamekon, V'chayek Kol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalav V'zman Karib Yivlamein, Yeheshmei Rabban V'barach, V'elam Yomei Maya, Yibarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yihadar, V'yichaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei V'yushav V'yiru, V'elam and Kol Berchata V'shirata, Tushbechata v'netemata, Damiran v'yalma v'imramein, Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'yalko Yisrael v'imramein, Oseh shalom v'imramav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu v'yalko Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Please be seated.
Nos sentamos, por favor.
So I'm very happy that so many of you have come here to celebrate Shavuot.
Estoy muy contento que hayamos venido todos nosotros a celebrar Shavuot.
Among the customs of Shavuot is reading the book of Ruth.
Entre las costumbres del Shavuot es leer el libro de Ruth.
And the story of Ruth is one that people who come to an Anusim synagogue can really feel on Shavuot evening.
Y en el libro de Ruth dice que la gente viene a un lugar como Anusim para estudiar.
Ruth, however, did not come from Christianity. She came from idolatry.
Ruth no vino de cristianity.
From idolatry.
Ideología.
You should know. And when her mother-in-law, Naomi, told her after Ruth's husband passed away, go back to your people, Ruth said no.
Y cuando su suegra le dijo, regresa a tu gente, Ruth le dijo que no.
And she said, your God will be my God.
Tu Dios será mi Dios.
Your people will be my people.
Tu gente será mi gente.
And wherever you go, I will go.
Y a donde quiera que tú vayas, yo iré.
The victims of the Inquisition did not really have that choice.
Las víctimas de la Inquisición realmente no tuvieron esa opción.
The Catholic Church and the Spanish government forced them
La iglesia religiosa los forzó
to leave that country.
a irse de ese país.
Not to go wherever they wanted to go, but to leave Spain and Portugal.
Querían que se fueran de España a Portugal.
And the descendants of those brave people
Y los descendientes de esa gente tan valiente
who went to many places throughout the world where they were not welcome,
fueron a muchos lugares de todo el mundo donde no eran bienvenidos.
thank God they found places where they could make a new home.
Gracias a Dios encontraron lugares donde pudieron hacer un nuevo hogar.
And 500 years later,
Y 500 años después,
we come here today
venimos aquí nosotros
and we think of them
y pensamos en ellos,
because we are welcome here.
porque aquí somos todos bienvenidos.
Not by everyone,
No todos, precisamente.
but we will persevere,
Pero vamos a perseverar
and one day
y un día
we will see the return of 100 million B'nai Anosim in the world.
veremos el regreso de más de 1 millón a nuestro Amos Inis.
Now, another practice on Shavuot is to study.
Otra práctica en Shavuot es estudiar.
If you will look at your, turn the page, you'll see the 10 Commandments.
Aquí puedes encontrar los 10 mandamientos
And that's our study session for today.
y esa va a ser nuestra sesión de estudio para hoy.
So there are two versions of the 10 Commandments found in the Torah.
Hay dos versiones de los 10 mandamientos en el Torah.
One is found in the book of Exodus,
Uno es encontrado en el libro de Éxodos
and one is found in the book of Deuteronomy.
y el otro está en el libro de Deuteronomio.
Now, what's the difference?
¿Cuál es la diferencia?
In the book of Exodus, it tells us exactly the time that they received, that our ancestors, they actually received the 10 Commandments.
En el libro del Éxodo dice cuándo exactamente nosotros recibimos los 10 mandamientos.
In the book of Deuteronomy,
En el libro de Deuteronomio,
our people are reflecting on what happened.
ahí está la gente reflexionando lo que pasó.
So they've gone through some changes
Entonces hubieron unos cambios
in the years from the book of Shemot or the book of Exodus to the book of Deuteronomy.
Entonces hubo unos cambios entre los dos libros.
So I'd like to start with the very first commandment.
Quisiera empezar con el primer mandamiento.
Bill, would just read the English of number 1.
I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
If you look on the Deuteronomy side, exact same words. By the way, what is is there a problem with this? Well, let's put it this way. Is the first commandment a commandment?
¿Es el primer mandamiento un mandamiento?
Anybody?
He's saying I am your God.
I'm sorry?
He's saying I am your God. That's the will of God.
So it's not a commandment.
Unless the commandment
Es
is
to
to keep it in
recognize
mind.
him, ¿no?
What?
Unless the commandment is to keep this in mind. It is a commandment.
It is or it isn't. Let's have a fight. It is basic. Most commentators say that some of the commandments also aren't commandments because the word commandment doesn't appear. It's the Aseret Dibrot, which means the 10 sayings. So these are actually sayings by God to the people of Israel, whether it was in that generation or in this generation.
El argumento es de que el primer mandamiento no es como un mandato, sino que nada más es algo que está dicho.
Now let's look at the second commandment. Yoli, would you read number 2?
You shall have no other gods before me.
Okay, so basically the second commandment is not to have any other gods. Okay, there should only be one God. All right, and number 4, and by the way, there's no difference yet in any of the commandments. The 4th line down talks more about these things. Let's see, who would like to? Would you look at it? Ken? Yeah, read the paragraph 4 on the left side. Or the 3rd one down, you shall not?
Verse 8.
Yeah.
You shall not make for yourselves a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands to those who love me and keep my mitzvot.
All right, so this is actually addendum to the second one. This is really number 2, but spelled out. You shall not basically worship any false images. There is only one God.
En el número 4 dice que no adorarás ninguna otra imagen. Entonces se corrobora el anterior, que es no tendrás otros dioses más que yo.
All right, now we come to actually what is the third commandment, which I believe is the most misunderstood commandment, and both are the exact same.
El rabino comenta que el número 3 es el mandamiento más controversial.
It tells us, you shall not take. It doesn't say, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. You don't have to translate that. It doesn't say, and it's very important because some people think, in fact, most people think that this commandment says that you shall not say, I swear to God, and then commit a sin or lie. It doesn't say that. Because look at the last part of it. It's the only commandment where there are consequences of your action. If you do this one commandment, if you take God's name in vain, God will not hold you guiltless. Now, we are a forgiving religion. But basically, God is saying, I can't forgive you for this. The question is, why? Because you lied in God's name. People do that all the time. That doesn't seem a major reason. Other people think that it means, and forgive me, but this is just as an example, if you drop an anvil on your big toe and you scream out, God damn it, that is taking God's name in vain. After all, you're saying, it's like cursing God in God's name. How did you do this to me, But it doesn't mean it seriously. For that, God will not hold you guiltless. The word in Hebrew is to take. Al tisa, do not take. Now, how do you take God's name? How do you take it? The person who takes God's name is a person who represents himself or herself as one who is committed to the belief in God. An example, a priest, a minister, a nun, a rabbi, a cantor, an imam, a person that teaches religion, or no, not necessarily, a person that teaches in a religious school, a person who dresses like a chassid with a beard and peyot. People like that, you look at them and you say, this is supposed to be a godly person. So why is it such a bad thing? Because the person that takes God's name, I'm a believer in God, and then acts despicably, is causing other people to say this belief in God is hypocritical. Religious people aren't acting morally. They don't care about their fellow human being. They're not acting godly. They just want everyone to think that they are. And that's the one that God is most concerned about because it directly relates to God's behavior. And if we're acting godly, our behavior should be moral. Now, in the next commandment, number 4, here is where it differs. And it differs in the very first word. In Exodus, it says, Zachor, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. In Deuteronomy, it says, observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And it also says, as the Lord your God commanded you. Remember, I said in Deuteronomy, it already happened. They're just recapitulating what happened and describing what happened during the 10 Commandments. So my question is, who can tell me the difference between remember and observe?
Observe is actually doing it and going there.
Observe means to do it. Remember means
Look,
say it again.
You've seen it, but it was in the past and I don't have it.
Okay, right. you could remember something and not do it, right? And you could do something and not remember why. By the way, it's one of the reasons we have 2 candles on Friday night. One is for Zachor and one is for Shamor. One is for remembering and one is for doing. 2 separate candles. That's one of the reasons for it. L'chadavi, we sing that. Zachor and Shamor. Remember, okay, and do. All right. Next. Now let's continue and see another difference in this paragraph. Okay. Let me get my notes. All right. Look at, so the next one basically, I told you it added, the Lord your God commanded you. It continues basically the same. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and now, look what it says next. You have to go over to the right-hand side and see where it says after servant, it says, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your strangers who is within your gates. In other words, you're not even supposed to put your animals to work. But on the left side, it's more of a generalization. Just as cattle. I mean, it's not a big difference, but it's interesting that evidently by the time Deuteronomy, remember the first one they just left Egypt. The second one they already have a home and they're looking back on it. So now they have a donkey, they have an ox, etc., etc. It's not a big difference, but the point is, nevertheless, there is a difference. Now, one more difference in this one. Nor your stranger who is within your gates, as it says in Exodus, and then it says in Deuteronomy, it adds that your male servant and your female servant may rest as well as you. The reason for this, why do you think there would be a difference? In Exodus it tells you, it did say your male servant and your maid servant and your female servant should not work, but here it says it twice basically, that your male servant and your female servant may rest as well as you. Why do you think there's a difference? Anybody? Realizing the Exodus is when it happened, Deuteronomy is, it happened, but now we're looking back now. Nobody? Well, when they left Egypt, they didn't have any slaves. They were slaves. It was hypothetical. When you, who were slaves for 40 years, you give your people off on Shabbat, okay? Now, it's already happened. They left, now they do have male servants and female servants. Give them off as well. That's the difference. Okay, and also, and then it explains it further in Deuteronomy, not Exodus. And remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. And the Lord your God brought you out from there by a mighty hand and by an outstretched arm. And that's where the difference ends. The last sentence is the same. So in other words, the difference is that we, in every generation, we as Jewish people have to have some sensitivity to people that work for us. And we don't treat them like slaves. We treat them on a higher level. Do I say that all Jewish businessmen do that? They could learn a great deal from this. It's a very, very important thing. Okay, now look at the 5th commandment. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long on the land on which the Lord your God is giving you. Look at the difference here. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, that your days. So they add the word, as the Lord your God has commanded you, that your days may be long, and that it may be well with you, adds that as well, the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Anyone, why do we add that little sentence?
Just because your days are long doesn't mean that things are good.
Okay, all right? Anyone else? Just
Like you said, like in Exodus, they were still in the desert.
Say it again?
During Exodus, they were still in the desert. They had no land. They were just
right.
roaming around, and now they have land.
Exactly. The difference is, again, it was more hypothetical in Exodus because they're just leaving. Now, what is I was saying, just like I said a second ago, once we leave slavery, really leave it, we still should not take our life for granted. Now, the next four are all the same until we get to the last one. You shall not murder. And by the way, it does not say you shall not kill. In many New Testaments, the translation says you shall not kill, which is one of the reasons why we as Jewish people we never view abortion as murder. We might view it as something inappropriate. But in Christianity, when it says you shall not kill, it's basically forbidding any killing at any, not I'm saying that Christians necessarily follow that. We were the victims of being executed in the name of a people that says you shouldn't kill. But it was okay to do that to Jews. But the fact of the case is that there is a difference when you say you're not allowed to kill. That's why there are people against capital punishment, etc. In our Torah, capital punishment is on the books. It's definitely on the books. However, there's so many preventive circumstances to actually have a case where there is capital punishment that it says in the Torah, in the Talmud, if a community has originally it said 7, then it said 7. If it finds a person guilty once in 7 years, and that person then is a victim of, not a victim, person's punishment is capital punishment, that court will be known as an evil court, the one that makes that decision. Later on it says, if it happens once in 70 years, nevertheless it's on the books. There are certain times that it is appropriate to take the life of someone else. It's not murder. Okay?
Recording in progress.
Yes, I agree. All right. You shall not commit adultery is there. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Now, the last one is very, very interesting. Look at the order. In Exodus, it says, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. Then you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. In Deuteronomy, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, and then you shall not desire your neighbor's house or his field, which wasn't mentioned before. The rest of it is basically the same. Why do you think there's a switch in the priorities here? And by the way, covet. How do you actually forbid someone from coveting? You know, I mean, and by the way, being jealous is one of the worst causes of crime in the world. Whether it's about a wife, whether it's about a job, whether it's about someone else who has money, whether it's about whatever it may be, doesn't really matter. Coveting is a feeling. It's not really something you can't. I mean, you'd have to have I don't really know how you can guarantee that, but it's here, so you think about it before you do something. But why do you think in Exodus it says you shall not covet your neighbor's house first, and in Deuteronomy you shall not covet your neighbor's wife? Yeah. Experience. Yours?
Experience. A bit further down the road.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, maybe you might end up murdering the husband and you get a wife in a car, in a house.
Say that again. Okay. Again, think in terms of where the people were. They did not have a house. They had a wife, but they did not have, no, don't covet you who had nothing. You were slaves for all those years, you have nothing. Don't all of a sudden covet the property of someone else. Just because no. But they didn't have it then. So later on, they already had a wife there. But now secondly, and again, it's also common on the way society is. When they were leaving Egypt, they were in such a hurry. They didn't really think that much about individual family situations. They thought about their getting out. Once they are free, don't start thinking about your neighbor's wife. It would never have come up while they're leaving. Once they're home, when they have a home, etc., that's when the coveting of a wife might be something that would drive you to immoral behavior. So, having said that, I would like now to switch yarmulkes and move on to the other reason that we came here this evening, and that was to honor the children in our religious school. Unfortunately, there aren't too many of them here, but the ones that are here, very fortunate that you're here. And let me just explain about our Hebrew school. When we started our, for those that don't know, and you can kind of summarize this. When we first started our Anusim Center in 2014, those of you that remember, it was on the Wallenberg, it was part of the Jewish Federation campus. It was made mostly a cultural center.
Cuando empezamos el Anusim Center, empezamos en el 2014 y era más bien un centro Anusim.
And although we had educational activities and we had conferences and we had social activities and music, we really did not have services.
Anteriormente no teníamos servicios, pero teníamos eventos de educación y conferencias.
When we started to have services in this facility just about a year ago,
Cuando empezamos a tener nuestros servicios aquí en este lugar,
we still didn't have any education for children.
todavía no teníamos educación para los estudiantes.
And it came to my realization that there were several children in the El Paso community that were not going to either the temple or the synagogue for classes.
Me di cuenta que algunos de los estudiantes que había aquí no iban a ningún lugar para obtener educación.
So I decided that besides the synagogue, that we would start a religious school, and on top of that, there were many kids who were way past 13 and never had a bar mitzvah.
Tomé la decisión de que empezáramos educación religiosa para los estudiantes y me di cuenta también que había estudiantes pasados de la fecha de 13 para tener su bar en bar mitzvah.
So now we started it and we have 16 kids.
Empezamos y ahora tenemos 16 estudiantes.
Which is pretty good because I have to tell you, the last year when I was the rabbi at B'nai Zion, we only had 18 kids in the entire Hebrew school.
Recuerdo en la sinagoga teníamos 18 estudiantes.
So I'm very proud of these kids that come.
Estoy muy orgulloso de estos estudiantes que han venido
And I actually asked their parents to come with them
y que pasen los estudiantes con sus padres,
because I really believe in Lador Vador,
porque creo en el Ledabor Labor,
which means from generation to generation.
que significa de generación en generación.
So I would like today to honor, and by the way, one other thing, we actually have our first bat mitzvah will be taking place in the fall.
Y nuestra primera bar mitzvah va a ser en el otoño.
So I would like to now call up these students,
Voy a llamar a los estudiantes
and thanks to Ron, we have a present for these students.
y gracias a mí los estudiantes tienen un regalito.
So first, I'm going to call in no particular order, Lacey Durfee. Give her a- So, how did you like this school yet? Liked it, right? And Lacey will be starting, is actually preparing for her bat mitzvah in the near future. So this is a presentation to you. Okay, stay right there. The next one I have is Jordan Pasternak. Jordan's taking the long way. That's why it took 40 years. That's another one. It takes 40 years in the wilderness to get here.
Offer map reading.
Okay. And she's preparing for her bat mitzvah. Now, a little younger, we have Emmy Pasternak. There you go. All right. Actually, none of the rescues are here. They actually have their, all 5 of them actually. 3 of them came to my class. 5 of them had our bat mitzvah at the synagogue last week. Bina Ochoa is not here. Carolina Viana is not here. Hannah Hagen. And Hannah's working really hard, having a bat mitzvah coming up. Shira Sosa is not here. Joel Kaplowitz is not here. But you know who is here? Sophia Estrella is here. Whoa! Sophia, just stand over there, young lady. All right. And then Ben Roth is not here. Benjamin Herman is not here. Shai Herman is not here. Skylar Kramer is here. And I'm going to ask Thomas Craven to come up and stand next to them. Because Thomas, we did have a lot of people helping out. Gail Slater, come here Thomas, I have something for you. Gail Slater gave a lot of her time to help our programs for our kids. And Chelsea Kidd helped out occasionally, and Haley Uresti helped out occasionally. But Thomas has been there all the time, and I really want to thank him. So I would like to offer a prayer for all of these wonderful students here. We are on shavuot night. Yishaberach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Leah Hu Yivarech et Talmideinu she'oskim b'Torah HaKadosh Baruch Hu yitein lahem hatzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedehem v'yitein lahem b'riut v'shalom v'parnasa HaKadosh Baruch Hu yitein lahem hatzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedehem im v'no amar. Amen. May God bless our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Bless these wonderful children. This is the future of the Jewish people. This is the future of the banana sin. This is the future of our civilization. It's in the hands of these young men and women. Is there any? Yeah, one man and woman. Well, Thomas. And we ask God to continue to bless you guys with good health, with happiness, with prosperity, and above all, shalom. Let's all of us together thank God for being able to participate in this by saying the Shehafian. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehafianu v'kiyimanu v'higyanu b'zman hazeh. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us in life, who has sustained us, and who has enabled us to reach this day. Mazel tov to each of you. Mazel tov. All right, I just have a couple of announcements as we come to the conclusion of our service.
Un par de anuncios.
I want everybody to know that at 7:30 at Congregation B'nai Zion this evening. Congregation B'nai Zion and Temple are having a joint shavuot service and study session that will go on for several hours. So you're all invited. We're about to end the service, and we would like everyone to be exiting by 7 so that you can make that and show them that we support. We're all one community. We have different approaches, but we are still all one community, and I think we should support that.
Hoy a las 7:30 en B'nai Zion, junto con el templo Mount Sinai, están haciendo un shavuot y todos están cordialmente invitados.
One other thing, if you're not a member yet of our Anasim Center Synagogue, and you want to be, all you have to do, I don't know if we have any forms there, but if not, just get on our website or Facebook. All you have to do is make a donation in any amount, and you become part of us officially, and we really appreciate it. So it's just through people spreading the word, and that's how we sustain ourselves.
A todos aquellos que son nuevos, por favor siéntanse bienvenidos, denos su nombre y su información para ponernos en comunicación con ustedes, y también nos pueden encontrar en social media en Facebook.
And we now, by the way, Blanca and Caesar, who couldn't be here tonight, they have been we're going to have a ceremony when they're here, but just briefly, we just had new elections. They are stepping down. They will be remaining, as past presidents. But the new officers, Sarah is our president, and
I'm secretary.
Secretary
Treasurer.
David Varela is Carmen, Vice President, and Jose Garcia, is he here? No, he's the treasurer. Did you want to say anything, Sarah?
No, just that, thank you so much for trusting me to be your president, and I'm really excited to work with the board and the congregation, and very excited for the next year. So we're all looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
The university clan just came. I don't know, is Hannah here? Hannah, would you come up? We have a gift for you. You just missed the ceremony by about 2 minutes. Is Moshe here? Is Eliseo here? Well, they were the 3 that participated. Here's a gift for you, and our appreciation for your participation. You're very, very welcome. So I just want to thank all of those that make this possible every time we do it, especially Dr. Asael. Good news that they have already done groundbreaking on our new building, which hopefully will be up either by the Jewish New Year or the secular New Year, I think. Okay? So we're working on that. And I want to thank Bill and Yoli, Dora, Kathy, Rachel, Alia, Sharon, all of the people that make this possible. Lately, not anybody? Iran.
Gracias a todos por hacer posible estos servicios.
So I'm just going to conclude with a Shavuot Kiddush and a Hamotzi. If you want to, those that want to stay around and schmooze a little bit, but we really need to leave here by 7. I told them that we would not stay that long tonight.
Y aquí estaremos celebrando y esperando que todos nos podamos ir a las 7 y irnos al siguiente evento.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei v'riach Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chaval mikol ha'am. Natan Torah, I forgot the word. I just drew a blank. points. You know it? Okay, well, give me a second. Titan Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, V'Hava Moadim L'Simcha, Hagim Uzmanim L'Sason, Et Yom Chag HaShavuot Hazeh, Zman Matan Torateinu, Mikra Kodesh, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, Ki Vanu B'Charta, V'Yotzanu Ki Dashta Mikol Ha'amim, Mo'odei Kachika, V'Simcha V'Sason Kaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, shehecheyanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higiyanu, l'zman hazeh. And do we have a knife for this one? No? Okay. We're going to use, as we did in the wilderness, we're going to tear it apart. Oh wait, Bill, you can cut it. Everyone together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And you can all come up and if you want to in papers. Thank you all for coming. We will let you know of our next activity, which will be in July, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Gracias a todos y pasen a agarrar un pedacito de pan y el siguiente evento será en julio.